Good day, everyone. This is Teacher K once again, hoping that everything is well with you and your family. Thank you, parents, for accepting our invitation to this very timely talk, which I'm sure will benefit many of us. Okay, joining me here in StreamYard are my favorite people. Teacher Doris Robin, our Vice Principal. Say hi, Teacher Doris. Okay, we also have Teacher Chris Ordinado, our high school coordinator.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
And our very efficient tech support guy, Teacher Joash Palomino.
Yes, Teacher Joash. Good morning.
I would also like to acknowledge, of course, our school admin, Teacher Mavis, our dear principal, Teacher Lily Mendoza, all the teachers and staff watching us right now via YouTube. Thank you, teachers, for your presence here today. The effects of the pandemic brought about overwhelming and strong emotions to both adults like us, parents and teachers, and to our teenagers and little children as well. It has taken its toll on everyone's health and psychological well-being to varying degrees. For most of us, it has affected our mental health, the way we think, feel, relate to others, and make decisions. TSMS has realized the importance of addressing these mental health concerns in this time of pandemic. So we thought of arranging some helpful talks, such as this one that we will be having this morning. Through these talks, we aim to help maintain the positive psychological well-being of all members of the Seed Montessori Schools community. To help us achieve that aim, we have invited a very competent speaker on this field. She is an expert not only in theory, but in many years of practice as a specialist. Our speaker earned her BS degree in psychology and finished her master's in childhood education from Miriam College. And she will soon get her doctorate degree as well in child and family studies from the same college. She is a licensed teacher and has been a professor in various colleges and universities such as the University of the East, Miriam College, and Colegio de San Lorenzo. She has also been invited to speak in countless seminars and talks on topics like personal growth, positive discipline and parenting, and bullying, to name a few. She has helped a lot of families, giving them wise counsel through the years as a family, adolescent, and child specialist. TSMS, let us give a warm welcome to our guest speaker, Miss Nina Era. Hi, Miss Nina.
Good morning po sa ating lahat. Magandang buhay. At sa amin po sa Kolehiyo ng Edukasyon, yun po kasi ang pagbati sa amin. Pag sinabing magandang buhay, ang sinasagot ng aming mga estudyante ay mabuting tao. Kasi palagi naming sinasabi, higit sa pagiging matalino ay importanteng maging mabuting tao kayo dahil kayo ay magiging mga susunod na mga guro ng bayan. Yon. So, magandang buhay po sa ating lahat. So, I am again very grateful for the invitation of Seed Montessori. I hope I will be able to explain to you about mental health. And later on po, whatever concerns that you may have or questions, let's talk about it at the end of the presentation. So, magandang umaga po.
Nina.
Yes,
magandang umaga po. The pleasure is ours, Miss Nina. Salamat po at pinaunlakan nyo kami ngayong umaga.
Salamat po ulit. May I share my screen now? Okay. Thank you. Okay. Nakikita na po ba yung aking screen?
Hindi pa po, Miss Nina. Ayan na po. Nag-load na siya.
Naglo-load na. Okay.
Okay na po.
Okay na. All right. Again, good morning po sa ating lahat. Dear parents, I know this is a Saturday, supposedly your rest day or your bonding time with your children. And I am very much thankful that you are joining us here in support of your child's mental health. The fact that you are here today, then it means that you want to become a better parent to your children and you wanted to understand them better. Okay. So, tayo po ay pag-uusapan ngayon natin. Alam natin, mental health has really been an issue. I thought, sabi ko nga in my practice, in my years of practice of counseling children and adolescents and families who are in crisis, I thought 2018 was the peak. Bakit ko po nasabi yon? Kasi noong 2018, I got the youngest client at 9 years old who attempted suicide. Okay, at 9 years old. And siyempre as a mother, I am also a mother. I'm a single mom to two adults already. My eldest is 24 and my youngest is 22 years old. So wala na po akong mga bagets. Okay, matatanda na sila. So I remember back 2018, yung 9 years old po na nag-attempt ng suicide. Sabi ko nung panahon ko, ang aking pinagdadaanan lang ay paano makataka sa hapon sa nanay ko. Kasi sabi ng mommy ko, matulog ka paghapon para tumangkad ka. Hindi ko naman alam kung may katotohanan yun o tumangkad talaga ako. Pero, yun lang yung concern ko. So, hinihintay ko siyang mag-siesta para makalabas ako. Sabi ko, parang it was that simple. I mean, as a child, I was only worrying about when do I play? How do I do it? Okay? Pero ngayon po, yung mga batang nakakausap ko, ay napakalalim na po ng mga pinagdadaanan. Okay? At kailangan po talaga ng malaking suporta ng ating mga magulang para sila po ay mapabuti at sila po ay matulungan. Okay. So to begin with, sabi nga po nitong pandemyang ito, this COVID-19, the next pandemic crisis is mental health. This was last May 18, 2020. And isn't that scary? Okay. Ako po ay parang mas natatakot dito kaysa sa COVID. Okay. Kasi parang sa COVID, parang mas kaya mong gawa ng paraan, meaning you just have to follow the minimum health standard as the IATF would keep on saying. Okay. Pero ito po kasing mental health, when you are affected mentally or psychologically, you become disabled, not just mentally but also physically. Kasi magkakakonekta po iyang mga yan. So, importante po na alagaan natin. Okay? Bigyang halaga po natin ang mental health. Okay? So, let me just give you a few global situation, okay, or statistics about mental health globally. Okay, depression is the most common mental health problem all over the world. Okay, and $1 trillion, okay, is lost in productivity. Okay? So makikita po ninyo na pati talaga ang pagiging yung production natin as an individual is definitely affected when we are not mentally able. Okay? When we have psychological issues, when we have mental issues. And suicide is the second leading cause of death among 15 to 29-year-olds around the world. So makikita nyo po, yung age group na yan, 15 to 29 years old, ay pasok po ang karamihan ng inyong mga anak. Okay? Normally, yung mga 15 to 24 years old, yan po ang tinatawag na adolescent stage. And it is really one of the most critical life stages in our lifespan. Okay. So, ito po yung global statistics. And even the World Health Organization predicted, but by 2030, so meaning po 10 years from now, mental disorders will account for 13% of the total global burden of diseases. Okay, so napakalaki po niyan, 13% in 10 years. So our children, if you have like 12-year-old kids, they are 22, they're supposedly at the end of their SEM or year, supposedly graduating or have graduated already. So yung time na yan talagang mas mataas po ang issues mental health. Okay. Let me now give you a rundown of the mental health of the Filipinos. Tayo pong mga Pinoy. And according also to the World Health Organization, before COVID-19 pandemic, the Philippines is one of the highest rates of depression in Southeast Asia. We used to be the happiest, diba? We used to be part of the happiest people in the world. We're still part of it. Medyo bumaba lang tayo. Pero here in Southeast Asia, isa na po tayo sa napakataas ng cases ng depression. At alam naman po natin na marami pa din na hindi talaga kumbaga nag-out, 'di ba? Dito at nagpapatingin sa mga professionals kasi natatakot pa rin sila, 'di ba? Natatakot pa rin po sila ma-label na sira ulo, baliw, may may topak, 'di ba? Those are all myths and those are all lies. Hindi po lahat, hindi po ibig sabihin tayo ay may mental health issues. Tayo ay baliw. Okay? There are times you just have to allow a professional to process what we feel. Yan. The National Statistics Office identified that mental illness is the third most prevalent form of morbidity in our country. There are around 88 cases of mental health problems for every 100,000 Filipinos. Again, I'm sure this was 2005 from the Department of Health. Today is 2020, so I am very sure this has gone up already. Okay. Next, in 2017, World Health Organization also reported that suicide rate by gender, okay po, is 5.8 for males and 1.9 for females. Okay, makikita po ninyo na napakalayo ng discrepancy between the males and the females. As we all know, this has something to do with culture. Okay, di ba? In Filipinos, or in the Filipino culture, marami pong mga magulang, lalo na yung mga traditional parents, we still are there. I mean, yung color blue ay kailangan para sa lalaki, ang mga baril-barilan, yung mga truck-truck, kotse-kotsehan ay dapat pang lalaki. Hindi dapat umiiyak ang mga lalaki kasi tinatanong ng mga tatay, bakla ka ba? So, it's very cultural. And I've seen that even in my counseling sessions. A lot of my clients would always tell me I am not comfortable. Those males or boys would always tell me I'm not comfortable because they always would tell me, bakla ka ba? Which is why we need to have that change in perspective. Crying is not a sign or does not have rather a gender. Okay? Crying is a human emotion. And colors also do not have gender. Hindi po porket favorite ng anak ninyong lalaki ay color pink, siya po ay bakla. Okay? At kung kulay blue ang favorite ng babae, siya po ay tomboy. Hindi po. Okay? And you can see here na napakataas po ng suicide rate sa mga kalalakihan because of that stigma, because of that stereotype that you are not allowed to cry because you're going to be tagged as bakla. You cannot cry or you cannot play dolls because you're going to be tagged as bakla. When toys, colors, and emotions, they do not have a gender. So ako po ay nananawagan sa ating mga magulang ngayon. Kung kayo po ay may mga anak na lalaki, encourage them. Encourage them to cry. Encourage them to express their emotions. Because this is one way of being mentally healthy. Intentional self-harm is also the ninth leading cause of death among 20 to 24-year-olds. So again, this was a statistics back in 2003. Again, I am very sure with my practice and with our counseling center, with the people that I see going there, I am sure this has gone up already. Okay. And among high school students. So this is quite alarming. This happened, or this was a survey back in 2015. And po, makikita po ninyo dito that 16% of our high school students seriously considered attempting suicide. Okay? Meaning po, ito ay meron ng ginawa. Okay? I have been a teacher in the tertiary level for more than 10 years, and I've seen this also rise in numbers in our students. Okay? Yung mga talagang nagpapakamatay po, hindi nga lang po nagiging successful ang kanilang mga attempts. And when you hear them out, you can feel, you can see how tired they are of life. How difficult it is for them to connect with their parents. And 13% attempted suicide one or more times. See? So para po sa mga high school, medyo hindi po ito magandang statistics. Sabi nga natin, one life is enough. 'Di ba? Hindi po natin kailangan ng paramihan ng numbers para ma-alarm, o hindi po natin kailangan hintayin na mag-suicide talaga ang ating mga anak bago natin sila seryosohin. Because a lot of my clients would tell me, pumunta lang naman po kami dito kasi nag-attempt na ako. Nag-overdose na ako ng gamot. Nag-cut na ako sa sarili ko. Nag-cut na ako sa tiyan ko. Hindi na po lahat dito sa ating mga, sa ating arms. Yung iba dito sa tiyan, yung iba minsan dito pa nga, sinusugatan nila yung leeg nila. And most of my clients, when I ask them, why are you doing that? Sabi ko, where is that pain coming from? And they would normally tell me, okay, siguro majority na sagot po ay masyado na pong masakit. Yun po ang sabi nila. The pain internally is too much. That I can no longer feel anymore. That I feel numb. And that the only way to feel again is to physically hurt myself. And a lot of times, I cry help. I ask my parents to bring me to a professional, and they would always just shrug it off, and they would tell me, kaartehan lang yan nung panahon namin. Walang ganyan. Ano lang yan, imahinasyon mo lang yan. Lumabas ka lang o magdasal ka lang. Of course, we don't minimize the power of prayer. But of course, there is more to it that we have to take it really seriously. Okay. And this was done recently by Premier Value Provider. They did a survey during the peak of the lockdown, May 5 to May 16, and they saw that the younger ones generally have a higher likelihood suffering from severe and extremely severe levels of stress, anxiety, and depression. Okay. Ang millennials po ay ang mga batang pinanganak mula 1980 to 1996. So yung ibang mga magulang ay alam ko kabilang rin po dito sa henerasyon ng Gen Y or mga millennials. Yan. So apektado rin po kayo. Okay? And ang ating mga mas batang anak, those who are coming from Generation Z, 1997 to 2015, they are also affected by this lockdown. Okay? So makikita po ninyo na ang mga bata, okay, ay talagang mas kailangan ng pagtutok, kailangan ng mas bigyang halaga ang kanilang mental health dahil sila po ay prone. Okay? Sila ay, kumbaga, ay mas madaling makapitan nitong mental health problems na ito. And so ano po ba ang mental health? Okay, this is the World Health Organization's definition of mental health. This is the state of well-being in which the individual realizes his or her own abilities, can cope with the normal stresses of life, can work productively and fruitfully, and is able to make a contribution to his or her community. Okay, let me go back to the underlined words. Okay, when you say well-being, this is not just about being physically healthy. Okay, so when you say healthy at well-being, ang kasama po nito ay all domains of development, meaning physically healthy, socially healthy, mentally healthy, emotionally healthy. Okay? So, at hindi lang po yung wala kang sakit ay matatawag kang healthy ka. Okay? So, you need to cover all those areas to be called healthy, or you have that state of well-being. And another underlined words here, realizes his or her own abilities. Okay. Tayo pong mga, ang ating mga anak po, okay, ang trabaho po nating mga magulang, ay tulungan po natin silang hanapin kung ano po ang kanilang kalakasan. You are there to guide. You are there to probably give advice if they are seeking your advice, but you are there basically to guide them and discover their talents and their strength as a person. At hindi po yan pare-pareho. Okay? Hindi po porket 5 anak nyo, pare-pareho po dapat kasi nanggaling lahat sa inyo. Hindi po. Each child is unique. Each person is unique. Okay? And because of that, we all have our own ability. Okay? Like for example, bigyan ko po kayo ng example. Okay? Paano kung ang abilidad ng batang ito ay arts? Yan. So, magaling siya, very creative. Pero dahil ayaw niyo siyang mag-fine arts, kasi gusto niyo yung mga alam or yung mga kilalang profesyon, o dahil posible kayo ay doktor o abogado or engineer, architect, so yung mga sikat po na mga professions, you tell them that you should take this instead of fine arts. Okay, so you become an engineer like your dad, you become an engineer like your mom, hindi siya magaling sa math. So how do you think will that child survive in engineering? Okay? Hindi naman po yun yung ability niya. So sa tingin niyo po, paano siya magko-cope with the normal stresses of life? Okay? Kasi kung alam niyo po yung inyong ability, you can definitely cope with the normal stresses of life, because we all know that life is stressful. You cannot remove stress from our daily life. It's part of our life. Sabi nga, habang may buhay, may problema. Okay? So, hindi po yan. That's part and parcel. Kailangan pong maintindihan ng mga bata that stresses and problems, they are really part of life. You cannot do away with that. But what matters most is that you're able to cope with the normal stresses of life so that you can work productively and fruitfully. Okay? Bakit kaya minsan sa tingin natin yung mga bata nawawalan ng gana? Bakit kaya minsan nawawalan sila ng motivation? Then probably we are trying to push them too far. Okay? And at later time, di ba when you grow older, yung sa edad na po natin, yung mga magulang po na aking mga kaedad, yung mga nasa 40s po ngayon na nakikinig sa akin, tayo po ay nabibilang sa Gen X. Yan. And during this time, I have given a webinar about middle adulthood, yung mga nagmi-midlifing na mga magulang. And I told them, at this point in time, we need to make a contribution to our community, to our society. And you cannot contribute to your society, you cannot contribute to your own family when you have not really worked productively in your life. When you feel na you have not, at this point in time, you have not realized your ability also as a person. So, importante po yan, tayong mga magulang, ulitin ko lang po, suportahan natin yung ating mga anak based on their abilities. Okay? So that they can work with the normal stresses of life, so that they become productive individuals in the future, so that they can make a contribution to the society. Yan po ang mental health. Okay, so let me just give you a rundown of the factors affecting mental health. Kasi po, para mas maintindihan natin bilang mga magulang, kung ano po ba yung nakakaapekto. Bakit kaya ngayon napakataas ng issues ng mental health? Hindi naman nangyayari nung panahon natin. Kaya minsan akala ng mga magulang ay umaarte ang ating mga anak. Okay. Ang number one problem, or number one factor rather, is this stage is the most critical, as I have mentioned earlier, is the most difficult stage. Okay? Ito po yung time, di ba, nang tayo ay nag-e-explore. And you see here that the adolescent stage is very long. But it starts at 12, it ends at 24. Okay? So makikita po niya parang 12 years na sa adolescent stage ang ating mga anak. Kaya merong mga ganap ang kanilang buhay. Diba? They're going through exploration. They're looking for who they are. They are looking for, what do I want apart from what my parents are asking me to do. May I share lang po bits and pieces of, probably sometimes I will share my life and some of my clients' life. Of course, I will not divulge their names. Ito po, naalala ko, ang aking mga magulang po ay mga negosyante. Okay? Though my mom became a teacher for just a short time, but when she married my dad, they already involved themselves in business. So they were in business for the longest time. Yan po ang nagpakain sa aming magkapatid. Dalawa lang po kami. My brother went into business as well. Okay? And I did not. College pa lang po ako. I'm very much open to my parents saying I do not like one to take business because I don't like business. Okay. Second, I think, why I wanted to get out of that family business is I wanted to prove that I can also be successful without the help or without that shadow from my parents. Okay? Kasi, yun nga po, who am I? Sino ba ako? Di ba kaya yung mga ibang mga bata, tayo ay mga pamilya ng mga doktor, pamilya ng mga kung ano, may mga ibang anak tayo, ayaw nila yon. Ba? Hindi dahil galit sila sa'yo, hindi dahil matigas ang ulo nila, hindi dahil gusto ka lang nilang pagrebeldehan, pero baka gusto na rin nilang hanapin kung sino sila. Gusto nilang hanapin na pwede rin naman akong maging successful kung hindi yung yung daan na tinahak ng aking mga magulang. And this is really the stage that you are looking for who you are. And this is also the stage that you are searching for your own strength. You are searching for your own faith. Diba may mga magulang, may mga anak po ngayon, marami po akong mga kliyente, they are now testing their faith. Totoo ba ang Diyos? Bakit ganon ang Diyos? Kung mahal niya ako, ba't ganito yung mga magulang ko? At hindi po masamang magtanong doon. Because ito nga po yung stage na to, na nagtatanong sila kung sino sila. And you are not there to make sermon to them. You are there to guide them. You are there to love them unconditionally, which we will talk about later on. Okay. Another one, peer pressure. Okay? Alam po natin, alam ko tong mga magulang tayo, mga magulang pinagdaanan po natin ito. This is part of high school life. This is part of the adolescent years. Diba? The need to belong, the need to be in, the need to be accepted. So this is even more needed. This is even more crucial for children who feel that they are not accepted in their own home. Okay? Mas lalo pong pumapasok ang peer pressure sa mga batang feeling nila. Okay? Hindi po sila tanggap sa kanilang bahay. Okay? Yung feeling nila, kailangan nilang magbigay ng mabuting grado para mahalin sila. I remember one student of mine came to me. Sabi niya, Miss Nina, you keep telling that parents will love us unconditionally. Sabi niya, you keep telling in class that parents are the people who would accept you in spite of and despite of. Sabi niya, how come that my parents will only recognize that I am their child when I give them good grades? So what can you say about that? Ako po ay hindi masyadong nakapagsalita. Medyo huminto po ako kasi may point siya. Kasi nakita mo yung kanyang pagiging desperado sa mga kaibigan niya. Natanggapin siya to the point that she engages in not so good behaviors just so to be accepted by her peer groups. Okay? So, napaka-importante po ng acceptance sa bahay. Okay? Para pagdating po niyan sa labas, kahit hindi po yan matanggap, meron siyang uuwi ang magulang na tumatanggap sa kanya. Next, the social media envy. Nakita po ito sa mga pag-aaral that this is really a significant predictor of symptoms of depression among Filipino high school students. Okay? Our students have been what? The social media has been their life. Okay? Wala na Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, lahat post, diba? Lahat follow, lahat pinapatulan, weather bashing. Okay? So, what does it teach? And I always would tell kids or our students, you know, what you post in social media, a lot of times they're not true. Because something that is real, you don't have to post it all the time. Something that is real, you don't have to flaunt it all the time. Okay? And a lot of times, people will post only the ideal parts of their lives. Wala naman nagsabi doon, bibihira lang yung, ito yung itsura ko pagkagising talaga. Yung iba, diba, nagpo-post sila na kunyari just woke up, pero nakaayos sila. Anong hinihintay nila, diba? They just want a comment of, ay, ang ganda mo kahit bagong gising. So, we are in diet of attention. And if our students or our children are not given that attention, given in social media, then they feel depressed. Ay, nobody likes me. Meron pa ako naging estudyante. I remember also in college. Pagdating po ng 7:30 class, okay, sabi niya, ang dami niyang picture. Looking up, looking down. Alam yan, talagang lahat po ng pose. Sabi niya, ma'am, pili ka po. Saan po ako pinakamaganda? So, syempre, ano naman ako, nakikijoin. So, sabi ko, ito, pretty ka. Tapos mamaya, klase ko rin siya. Yung estudyante yun, so pinost niya. Siguro, 4 hours after, estudyante ko uli siya ng after lunch. And then, she came to me. Sabi niya, ma'am, dinelete ko na po yung pinost ko kanina na, na picture. Na sabi niyo maganda ako. Sabi ko, bakit? Kasi ma'am, 30 likes lang nakuha ko eh. Sabi ko, ay ganon? Bakit? Meron bang number of likes that you should be able to get for you to be able to stick to that particular profile pic? Sabi niya, ma'am, 1,000 plus po yung friends ko sa Facebook eh. Dapat po, meron yan 150 likes man lang. Kaya sabi ko dun sa mga bata, number one fact, not everybody who likes your photo in Facebook like it. Okay? Most of the time, katulad po ako, napindot ko lang. Hindi ko naman talaga ni-like. So, syempre, di ba, nakakaya naman bawiin yung like. O di sige, sa'yo na yung like button na yan. Okay? And not everybody who likes it really likes it. Sometimes, alam mo, just for the sake of joining the band. Okay? So, anong nangyayari? Nangyayari po, yung mga batang ito, doon na nakadepende ang kanilang self-esteem. Doon na nakadepende yung definition nila of their achievement based on the number of likes they get. And when they don't get it, they feel depressed. Okay? So, bawasan dapat natin itong social media use ng ating mga anak. Okay? And of course, the need to be perfect. Okay? I always would tell parents, no one is perfect. You are not perfect. So you do not have the right to demand your children to be perfect. Lahat po tayo ay may kapalpakan. Even the most intelligent, even the richest person isn't perfect. Okay? So bakit po natin dinidemand ang perfection sa ating mga anak? Bakit kailangan number one? Bakit kailangan ano ang grade mo palagi? Okay? That brings them so much stress eh. That need to be perfect. Okay? And another factor can be a major life change, such as death of a loved one, especially now that this is COVID-19. But we are all experiencing a lot of losses, okay, and a lot of major life changes because of the loss of lives, loss of livelihood, loss of hope, okay, and of course, relationship breakdown. Yan. And sabi ko nga po, the parental pressure. There's pressure in school with friends. There's also pressure with parents. At ang pinakamatinding pressure po ay nanggagaling sa inyo, mahal kong mga magulang. Okay? If you can only hear the cries of your children, I mean the children that I am doing therapy with in the counseling room, I feel their pain. I feel their pressure. I feel their longingness for acceptance. I feel their longingness for love. Okay? And they feel that yun nga eh, at 13, at 14, at 15, pagod na ako mabuhay. Ba? At minsan sinasabi ko nga mahaba pa yung lalakbayin mo eh. Iha, iho. Pero sabi nga nila, minsan ayoko na po. Minsan pinagdadasal ko, sana hindi na po ako magising. So, I mean, look at where they are coming from. And most of it are really coming from parents. A lot of times, it's coming from their relationship from parents. Okay. The disconnectedness. Yan. Alam ko po, busy tayong nagtatrabaho. Okay? Alam ko po, we are doing this for our children. Okay? But my dad would always remind me, Baka po madinig nyo ang tatay ko every now and then sa mga webinars, palagi ko po siyang sinasama kasi malaki po ang parte ng pagkatao ko nang galing talaga dahil sa kanyang walang hindi ko alam sa Filipino yung kanyang unconditional love. When my dad died 4 years ago, sabi ko nga 50% of myself died with him. And I've seen how his love played in my life. Okay? Because I wasn't a perfect daughter. I had my all misgivings and failures and kapalpakan. But he never turned his back on me. And I have always felt that he loved me without conditions. And this disconnectedness, yan, ito po yung nawawala, yung hindi ka naiintindihan. Yung minsan magkakasama kayo sa bahay, pero hindi kayo nag-uusap. Like kahapon po, may client akong nanay. May problema sila ng anak niya. Sabi ko, kailan niyo po nakausap yung anak niyo? Sabi niya, nung isang araw. So sabi ko, kanina po, bago pumunta dito sa counseling center, hindi po ba kayo nag-usap? Sabi niya, nagkita kami, pero hindi kami nag-usap. See? Diba? Nasa isang bahay kayo, hindi kayo nagkamustahan. Walang, hi ma, kumain ka na ba? Or ma, pwede ba akong lumabas? Or ma, like my son, he's going through his last sem in UP now, so nasa thesis po siya. So every now and then he would ask me, mami, tama ba tong RRL na to? Mami, ito ba to? So kahit pa paano, 'di ba? You are talking, you are connecting. And this disconnectedness is definitely affecting their mental health. You know why? Because connectedness is a protective factor in suicide prevention. Okay? A lot of times, suicide could have been prevented if only there was one person who connected with that person. Okay? Kung meron lang pong nagtanong sa taong yan, kamusta ka ba? Malungkot ka ba? Gusto mo ba ng kausap? Ba? Baka sana hindi natuloy. Meron pong isang kliyente, yung isang aking kasamahan sa counseling, kinukwento niya sa amin, yung magulang, yung kanyang kliyente kasi dinidebrief niya yung mga magulang kasi nagpakamatay yung kanilang 15 years old na anak. And they are really clueless why it happened. Sabi niya, mukha naman siyang okay, wala naman kaming problema. Wala naman siyang sinasabi. Anong nangyari? And they found a letter. Okay? They showed the letter to the psychologist, okay, to my colleague. And sabi nga niya, nung binabasa ko yung letter, maraming hindi nakapuna doon sa napunan niya, sa nabigyan niya, highlight niya. Sabi doon sa hinaba-haba ng sulat ng batang iyon. Sabi niya, if only somebody asked me, how am I? Then I could have felt more love. Yeah. So sabi niya, hindi to napansin, no? Ibig sabihin, all these years, walang nagtatanong, kamusta ka, anak? Probably, ang tinatanong mo, kamusta grade mo? It's different from kamusta ka, anak. Okay? So, connect with your children because it has been in several research that it is a protective factor in suicide prevention. Okay. So let me now give you, those are the factors. And now I'm going to give you, when is it alarming? Okay. So we have to know the red flags. Okay. Kasi yun nga, minsan clueless tayo eh. Hala, anong nangyari? Ba't ganon? Umaarte lang ba yung anak ko? Kasi minsan meron naman talaga pong ganon. I do not discount the fact. May mga bata, they get attention when they try to hurt themselves. But it's not really as if they are depressed. Okay? May mga ganun po rin kaming kliyente. But again, there is a problem in the family. Okay? So, when is it alarming? Yan. Withdrawal. Okay? When you say withdrawal, all of a sudden, hindi na yan sumasama sa inyong mga, I don't know, family dinner. Wala, hindi na yan nakikipagkwentuhan. Wala na rin kakwentuhan yan kahit yung mga kapatid niya, kaibigan niya. Talagang may withdrawal. Okay, so that is one sign that you have to watch out for. And it can be alarming if this continues for several days. And next sign po, drop in functioning. Meaning, dati naman okay yung mga grades po niyan, okay naman sa trabaho. Meron naman yung extracurricular, nagba-basketball, jumo-join sa mga kung ano-anong activities. And then all of a sudden, ayoko na. Mababa na ang grades, mabagsak, ayoko nang pumasok sa trabaho. Okay? Ayoko nang mag-join sa mga extracurricular activities, wala na. Okay? So that can be another sign. Okay? Third, increased sensitivity. Pag sinabi pong increased sensitivity, all of a sudden gusto nila sa madilim. Kaya nga po normally yung mga may depression, itim ang kanilang minsang kortina o madilim na madilim ang gusto nila sa kwarto nila. Because they're very sensitive with light. They're very sensitive with sounds. Ayaw nila ng maingay. O gusto lang nila yung talagang rock na sin super masakit na sa tenga. Okay? Their smell, they become sometimes irritable with just a simple pabango or with a simple pinipritong bangus. Okay? Touch, mahawakan mo lang. Parang, ano ba yan? Diba? Parang ang init. Ano ba yan? Wag mo nga ako ang lagkit. So you become very sensitive with your senses. Okay? Next, apathy. Ito po yung nakakatakot. Para sa akin, ito po yung pinakamahirap kausap na kliyente who's going through mental health issues. Kasi po pag apathetic na po yung tao, kahit anong pasok mo minsan, like you tell them, you know what, your parents love you, you know what, probably we can talk to your mom, you know what, you want to talk with your dad, do you want me to talk to your dad? Wala nang ganun, lahat ng sagot sa akin, wala akong pakialam, I don't care. I don't like to live, I don't care about them, they don't care about me. So ang hirap po. Ito yung kumbaga sukdulan para sa akin. Yung wala na akong pakialam, wala na akong desire to live. I feel that it's the end of the world. That it is hopeless. That why do I have to wake up another day? So ito po yung iniiwasan natin. Ito po yung iniiwasan ko pagka ako po ay nasa mga sessions. Pag nakikita ko po ito, sinasabihan ko po ang mga magulang na pwede po ba nating dalas-dalasan ang therapy sessions natin dito sa inyong mga anak kasi medyo delikado po. Kasi hindi po nakakatuwa. Kasi may mga bata po, very receptive pa rin po. Kahit na, they have depression or sometimes anxiety or sometimes emotional issues, nakikita pa rin naman nila, meron pa rin silang acceptance or recognition that I still want to live, it's just that I'm tired. Parang ganon. Pero ito pong apathy, nawawala na po yung desire na yon. Another would be the mood changes. Okay? These can be really dramatic shifts. One end, sobra niyang hyper, ang daldal. One end, umiiyak na lang siya. Okay? Ayaw niya nang magsalita. Gusto na lang niyang mapag-isa. Okay? So that can be another sign. And nervousness, yung para pong nagpapalpitate, yung para pong natatakot ako pero hindi ko alam. Tatakot ako sa lahat. Takot ako sa sinasabi nila, tatakot ako sa ibang tao, tatakot ako sa nanay ko, tatakot ako sa tatay ko. Natatakot ako sa madilim, natatakot ako sa maliwanag. Ang daming kinakatakutan. Okay? And they really couldn't control the nervousness. Okay? That fear. Okay? So that can be another sign. Next, sleep and appetite changes. Kikita nyo po either wala nang ginawa kundi matulog or hindi natutulog. Meron po akong mga kliyente, 2-3 araw gising sila. Okay? Kasi hindi daw talaga sila makatulog. Ang dami-dami ang feeling nila, umaabot na raw sila sa point na feeling nila. Okay? Ito lang ay feeling nila na may nagsasabi daw sa kanilang dapat mamatay ka na. Okay? So just kasi nga gising sila. Or sometimes appetite changes. They overeat or they don't eat at all. I mean, tubig lang, okay na. So, if you see these signs and red flags in your children, then I highly encourage you to go to a professional. I highly encourage you to consult a professional. Or sometimes, hindi lang po kasama dito yung sleep pala at saka yung appetite. Can also be a decline in their personal care. May mga clients po ako hindi talaga naliligo. Ang tagal na nilang hindi naligo kasi wala daw silang energy to get out of their bed and take a bath. Yan, ganun po talaga minsan umaabot. Okay. And a lot of times, you can probably ask their friends, ask people. Sometimes they put this on Twitter. Okay. That's why it's very important that you are friends with your children in their social media sites. But please do not make sermon there because they're going to unfriend you, they're going to block you, and it's going to be more alarming for you because sometimes it's your way of seeing or looking after your kids. Okay. Ako po marami akong nakakausap ng mga suicidal na mga estudyante. Dahil kaibigan ko sila sa Facebook, dahil fina-follow ko sila sa Twitter. But I wouldn't message there. I wouldn't like tell them, oy, bad yan, o ano ba yan, ano, ba't mo yung ginagawa? Because I know teenagers do not like that. Okay? There's other ways that you can reach out to them without you looking like you're a stalker. Yan. So, ginagawa ko po, ipa-private message ko yung student. Sabi ko, hi, saw your post. So, isi-screenshot ko yung post niya. You want to talk? You need help? Yun lang. I'm just here. And a lot of times naman, I get answers from students. And that is where I would see a lot of emotional issues from, again, the family. That's why they have thought of ending their life. And a lot of times, I get thank you letters from students. Palagi nila, kaya po ang mga estudyante ko ang tawag sa akin pagkatapos na nila ako maging teacher, tawag po nila sa akin, Mama Nina. Kasi sabi nila kung pwedeng ako na lang ang nanay nila o magulang nila kaysa yung mga magulang nila. Marami po akong mga estudyante na yung pag-graduation nila, binibigay nila sa akin yung ticket para sa magulang nila. Kasi sabi nila, hindi naman ako nila mahal. Diba? Hindi naman ako buhay ngayon kung hindi nyo ako tinulungan. And I've seen that. Okay, I've seen their cry for help. And this is very alarming when your children would talk about death or would talk about suicide already. Okay, so how do we now support? So this is now the meat of our discussion. Now that you know the red flags, now that you know the factors, okay? So this one, how parents can support the teens' mental health, okay, or your child's mental health, okay. First and foremost, develop a relationship with your child. Ang relasyon po ay nag-uumpisa mula nung sila ay bata. Okay? Yung pakikipag-usap, pakikipagkwentuhan, okay? Yung you spend time with them is very much important. When your kids are no longer teenagers, they won't need your time anymore. I mean, that much time anymore. They just need your quality time. I mean, pag 10 to 15 minutes, makipag-usap ka lang about life, about feelings. Yun po yung ibig sabihin ng develop a relationship with your child. And you cannot parent our children the way we were parented. You cannot keep saying, bakit kami nung bata? Diba? Hindi na nga ganun eh. Iba na po yung henerasyon ngayon. Okay? Ano po ang patunay na iba ng henerasyon ngayon? nung bata po tayo, ang isang paglaki ng mata ng ating mga magulang o ng nanay ko lalo na, alam ko na ibig sabihin, tumahimik ka na kasi isa pa, mapapagalitan na talaga kita. And we are aware of that. Okay? But look at kids now. Lakihan mo ng mata, anong gagawin nila sa'yo? Lalakihan ka din nila ng mata. Okay? So, you cannot parent your children. Okay? You cannot use the way you were parented your children, okay, the way you were parented before. You cannot use that style anymore. You have to deal with the present generation. And this generation is difficult. Okay? So you really have to reach out to them. Kasi ang mga bata po ngayon, pag hindi nyo na po pwedeng sabihin, anak ka lang, ako yung magulang. Kasi po, kung yan po ang inyong paniniwala, mawawala po ang inyong mga anak. Okay? Kailangan po mag-adjust po tayo sa kanila. Kasi noon, yung mga magulang, di ba, hindi mo sila nag-a-adjust sa atin. Tayo nga adjust sa kanila, di ba? Pag sinabing, ako noon, pagpapaalam ako, ma'am, may pupuntahan akong birthday. No. I do not have the right to ask, bakit no? Basta sinabi niyang no. Minsan madalas ako nagtatanong, kaya madalas ako napapagalitan. Sa dalawa po kaming magkapatid, ako po talaga yung maraming tanong sa buhay. So, I would always get that comment from my mom. Sabi niya, ang dami mong hindi ka na lang sumunod. Okay? But that's not how children are right now. They need explanation. They need you to tell them why. Okay? So that they will develop a relationship with you. Okay? And this is one important strategy. Okay? Have a regular family meeting or dinner together. I'm sure lalo na nga po nitong pandemic, 'di ba? Families were forced to be with each other. 'Di ba? Kaya nga po marami kaming mga naging client ngayon na mga mag-asawa na nagkaroon ngayon ng problema kasi sa sobrang oras daw nila na magkasama, lahat po ng issues naglabasan ngayon. That's what they tell us. Okay? So it's very important if you can have a regular session with them, like kamustahan. Diba? Sa mga trabaho po natin, may mga ganun, diba? Minsan may mga pa-meeting para magkamustahan lang. Bakit sa mga pamilya hindi pwede yon? Diba? Katrabaho mo nga yan, diba? Bakit ginagawa yan ng mga leaders ng mga kumpanya? They wanted to check with their employees if they're okay so that their work or their production will not be affected. O di ganun din po tayo. Diba? Kamustahin natin ang ating mga anak. Again, when you say kamusta, it's not about school. It's not about grades. Okay? Just about them. How are you, anak? Okay? Baka pag kayo po ang unang nangamusta, baka yung mga bata ay matuto na rin silang mga musta. Ikaw, mami, kamusta ka? Diba? Like my children, because I always would ask them how they are. Pagka minsan tahimik ako, or siguro mukhang malungkot ang mukha ko, they would always ask me, Mommy, are you sad? Sabihin ko lang, no, I'm tired. I'm not sad. So it's very important that you become role models to your children so that they follow what you are going to do. Next, talk about feelings. Importante po yan. Bakit po may mga mental health issues sa mga bata ngayon? Hindi naman po pinag-uusapan daw sa pamilya ang nararamdaman eh. Sabi, ay, hindi po namin yung pinag-uusapan. Awkward. Diba? Sabi ko, bakit awkward? Lumalaki naman po kami, wala naman pong gano'n ang mga magulang namin. Wala naman pong pagtanong na pwede akong umiyak kasi nalulungkot ako, or pwede akong magalit kasi nag-away kami ng mga barkada ko. Parang, I cannot be that honest to them. I cannot express feelings to them because a lot of times I get a feedback, ano ba yan? Arte lang. Ano ba yan? Para yan lang. Diba? So a lot of times they get their feedback or that feedback from parents, so they start keeping feelings. Alam nyo po, parang sinabi ko po ito kahapon sa mga bata, ang ating emotions ay parang bulkan. Okay? So, It can either be an active or a dormant volcano. A dormant volcano obviously will not erupt from time to time. It sleeps, it's quiet for the longest time. But when it erupts, it's explosive, it's destructive, it's unimaginable. But look at what happened with Mount Pinatubo. Diba? It was quiet for what, 200-300 years until that happened. And look at what happened to Pampanga. Eh? Pero there are volcanoes who would erupt from time to time. Meaning, yan, lalabas lang yung emosyon. Pero yun lang. Diba? Nag-erupt lang. But nothing really destructible is going to happen. Okay? So that's how important that we talk about feelings. We start with ourselves, of course. Okay? Hindi po natin kailangan mag-pretend tayo mga magulang na tayo ay mga gods and goddesses. Okay? May I just again share with you, yung mom ko po, ngayon lang po kami nagiging super close. Okay? Growing up, I didn't get to really understand where she's coming from because she was just a mom to me. Yung kanyang ano bang but I'm very thankful with the discipline that she has instilled to us. I wouldn't be this emotionally intelligent because of, I mean, if not for her. Okay? Pero noong bata po ako, natatandaan ko, I wouldn't talk about feelings to her and she wouldn't talk about feelings to me as well. Ang tatay ko lang yung ganon. Okay? So we will talk about ganito, mababa yung grade ko sa math. Kasi ganito ganyan. I talk about my fears. I talk about when I'm happy. Papa, meron akong ganito, ganyan. Papa, yung classmate ko may ganitong parang gusto ko rin noon. But kailan kaya ako? Yung nga ganon. I mean, I don't talk to my mom about it because she never talked about feelings to me as well. Okay? And I've always seen her as a parang ano bang tawag doon? Hindi naman siguro Diyos. Pero I've also seen her as not human. Because I've not seen her cry. I've not seen her, alam mo yun, yung parang show off na lulungkot. Ang nakikita ko lang palagi sa kanya, basta nagdidisiplina siya, yun lang. That's it. And when my dad died 4 years back, it devastated her. Okay? Sabi nga niya, you cannot tell me, kasi I keep telling her, Mommy, Ma, ano na tayo, accept na natin, ganyan. So one time sabi niya sa akin, you don't tell me to move on because I've been happily married for 52 years here to your papa. So I cannot move on. I will never move on. And I've seen her in her weakest point, crying profusely. Sabi ko, tao pala yung nanay ko. Nung may sakit yung tatay ko, pag tinatanong ko anong gagawin natin, wala siyang alam. Sabi niya, hindi ko alam, bahala na kayong magkapatid mag-decide. I've seen her in her indecisiveness at that time. And sabi ko, tao pala tong nanay ko. Sabi ko, sana nakita ko to. Kasi nung nakita ko to, nag-connect ako sa kanya. Sabi ko, nag-connect. I started to be close to her. I started to understand where she's coming from. Maybe as parents, you talk about feelings. You talk about your fears. You talk about what's happening now. You talk about the fear of probably losing a job. Talk about the fear of probably not being able to send your children to school in the coming years because of the instability of our economy. Diba? So, hindi po masama na pag-usapan yan para ang mga bata. Sila rin po makita nila na pwede ko rin palang sabihin ito sa aking nanay at sa aking tatay. Okay? Because you are not superheroes. Okay? Refrain from over-sanitizing life. Stop being a helicopter parent. Okay? Yan po ang mga bagong term ngayong panahong ito. Yung mga helicopter parents, they are hovering over their children's lives. In layman's term, pakialamero. Lahat na lang pinakialaman. Gustong kaibigan, grado, lahat pinakialaman, kaibigan, grades, sino ang kaibigan sa Facebook, ano dapat ang mga extracurricular activities, ano dapat ang kuhanin sa college, saan ka dapat mag-college. You are a helicopter parents if you are doing that. And you are sanitizing, you are overly sanitizing your children's life. You cannot shield them from the realities of life. Okay? At certain point, they need to experience that life is hard. Mahirap po ang buhay. When are you going to teach that? Yung mas mahirap na po yung buhay at hindi na nila kayang mag-adjust. You know that the formative years, okay, is between 0 to 12 years old. Okay. A lot of parents would ask me, Ma'am, paano na pagdating ng 12? Kung sinasabi mong 0 to 12, so ano na? Wala nang pag-asa? Sabi ko, ay hindi naman po walang pag-asa. Meron naman po tayong tinatawag na divine intervention. Okay? But, of course, seriously speaking, of course, prayers definitely will help. But after 12 years old, it will be extra difficult. Kasi po, yung 0 to 12, ang buhay ng ating mga anak ay nasa ating pamamahay lamang. Okay? Wala pa yan masyadong, wala pa yan masyadong pakialam sa outside world. Normally, ang buhay niyan, di ba? Mga magulang, kapatid, anong nangyayari sa bahay, ganyan. Or yung mga kapitbahay lang ng mga ka-close nila siguro. Pero pagdating ng 12 pataas, they have other distractions already. Especially now of the social media. Diba? May buhay na yan. Meron na yung kaibigan sa kanilang mga social media sites. Meron na yung mga barkada sa eskwelahan. Hindi mo na ngayon makikilala kung sino-sino yung mga barkadang yan. Okay? Marami na po yung nakikita. Or marami na po yan nag-google. Diba? So, hindi na po ang bahay ang kanilang source of information. So, when you do not connect with them, if you do not discipline them, if you do not teach them that life is hard early on, it will be extra difficult for them to adjust after. I had a client, okay? She went into depression. Sabi nga ng mga magulang, ilang psychiatrist na po ang kanilang pinuntahan. But to no avail, it didn't help. It probably calmed their daughter, but it did not improve her situation until such time that she started to physically hurt herself. Okay? So sabi niya, Miss Nina, desperado na kami. So we are trying this counseling session with you. And what did I find out? Ang batang ito ay dahil matalino siya at talagang nakatutok ang mga magulang sa kanyang pag-aaral. Talagang tutor there, tutor here, tutor everywhere. Okay? So na ano ng bata na matalino siya. Number one naman talaga siya sa klase, palagi. Okay? So after elementary, she went into a very good science school. Okay? That's when she started to realize that she is not number one anymore. That she realized that there are children or there are students better than you are. And it was difficult for her to accept that. And she started going through depression. Okay? So, what did I tell the parents? Because you have overly sanitized life for her. You did not teach early on that, hey, you are smart, but there are students smarter than you are. And that, you know what? Grades, they are not going to define your success in the future. They're just going to define your knowledge for that particular subject. Okay? And you may be number one, but that doesn't mean you're going to be number one all throughout. Okay? So, wag po tayong maging superheroes kasi hindi po tayo superheroes. This is the perfect opportunity, especially now that we are going through a crisis because of COVID. Teach them that life is hard. Teach them that you have to adjust. Teach them that you can't have your way all the time. Teach them that, hey, life is cruel out there. That's why right now I'm going to teach you how to cope with the cruel world. Okay. Allow. So, in correction, sinabi ko na po dun, allow your children to make choices. Okay? You can't live, you may be the parent, but you can't live their life. Ba? You give them the choice. Gusto ba nila talaga yung kurso? Ano bang gusto nila? Tinanong mo ba? Ba? O baka ikaw ang nag-decide. Kaya ngayon hirap na hirap siyang makapag-cope. Parang yung tao, yung batang yon, yung matalinong batang sinasabi ko po kanina. Sabi ko sa kanya, what do you want to be? What do you want to take in college? Sabi niya, I want to be a doctor. So sabi ko, do you really want to become a doctor? Tapos suminto siya. Sabi ko, why? Because my dad told me that if you're smart, you have to be a doctor. See? Sabi ko, so do you believe that you can only smart kids have the right to become a doctor? Sabi niya, but that's what my parents would always tell me. Ang tali-talino mo, dapat mag-doktor ka. Pero sabi ko, ikaw, anong gusto mo? Sabi niya, I like the arts. I like to be in fine arts. So sabi ko, why didn't you tell that to your parents? No. Sabi niya, I tried opening it up. They tell me, wala yan, wag yan, hindi naman yan profession. Sabi ko, talaga sinabi yon? So tinanong ko sa parents, talaga po bang sinabi niyo yon? Sabi niya, kasi naman, 'di ba? Sayang yung talino niya. Sabi ko, no. Allow your children to make a choice. That's their life. Alam niyo po, pag hindi niyo inallow yan, babalik yan sa mga anak niyo when they are in middle adulthood. Alam niyo po kung bakit maraming shifting ng career sa middle adulthood? Kasi ito yung time na naghahanap na uli tayo ng ating sarili. This is the time that we go back to kaya nga may midlife crisis na tinatawag. Diba? Kasi ito yung mga matatanda na hindi pinabayaan ng mga magulang na gumawa ng sarili nilang mga choices sa buhay. Kaya ngayon nagmi-midlife crisis sila. Kasi nga dapat noong teenager sila, yung identity crisis dapat na-resolve na nila yon. But they weren't allowed to resolve it by themselves because it was the parents who solved it for them. Ending, wala silang choice. Okay? So ngayon, nung middle adulthood sila, ngayon na alam nilang may choice na sila, then they start to shift. Okay? They shift career a lot of times. Yan po. And then, when I say talk with them, not to them principle, you listen to them first. Diba? In the English, in the rule of language, when you use may I speak with you, meaning it's a two-way thing rather than may I speak to you, because to you, I am just the only one who's going to talk, you shut up. Okay? So we don't like that. Our teens will listen to you after they feel listened to. Okay? Kinig muna kayo. Sabi nga ng mga estudyante ngayon, pag ako po ay hindi sumasagot, sasabihin sa akin, sumagot ka, kinakausap ka. Pag naman sumagot ako, bastos ka, pasagot-sagot ka pa. So sabi ng mga bata, damn if you do, damn if you don't. So, saan ba ako lulugar, ma? Ba? So you talk with them. You probably say, okay, I'm going to tell my side. This is my side of the story. Later, I'll give you the chance to talk. But let me have this chance first. Okay? Para alam ng bata na, okay, papakinggan naman pala ako eh. Okay? Kaya nga po sabi, pretend. Alam ko po medyo mahirap po ngayon kasi lahat naka-online. Ba? At talagang naka-wifi o naka-data. Pero siguro lagyan natin ng parang kumbaga day off yung ating mga wifi. You talk to each other, pretend that it's 1995. Ba? Yung mga pamilya noon, 'di ba, when they eat out, they talk to one another. They talk to each other. Kasi wala namang cellphone. 'Di ba? So nagkakamustahan yan. Ngayon, the moment they sit, okay, when they're dining out, they would automatically bring out their own gadgets and kanya-kanya na. Wala nang usapan. Okay? So pretend that there's no wifi. And sabi nga ito ng mga bata, wag po tayong judger. Term nila yan eh. Don't judge what they have to say. Minsan, pagsasabihin nilang, ma, nalulungkot ako. Ma, feeling ko, nade-depress ako. Ano ba yan? Arte-arte mo lang. Kaartehan lang yan. Diba? So ano po yun? You're judging them. So it turns them off. So anong nangyayari? Wag na nga lang. Wag ka na nga lang sabihin. Kasi lahat na lang meron siyang sinabi. Lahat na lang mali ako. Diba? Lahat na lang ikaw na yung tama. Diba? So do not judge them. And love them especially when they are undeserving of your love. Okay? That's the time that our children need our love the most. Mababa ang grades, malungkot, may pinagdadaanan, hindi naiintindihan ng lesson, bumagsak, hindi nakapasa sa entrance exam sa kanyang gustong eskwelahan. Those are the times that they need your love, that they need your support. Hindi kung kailan yung napakaganda ng nangyayari sa buhay nila. I'd like to share to you a video about this. Okay, before that pala, remember the children who need the most love will ask for that love in the most unloving way. Wala pong batang pasaway. Okay? Ang batang pasaway ay humihingi lamang ng inyong pagmamahal. Okay? Kaya po palagi kong sinasabi, ang magulang po ang pasaway, hindi ang anak. Nagiging pasaway lamang sila kasi I am crying for help. I am crying for attention. I need your love, mom. I need your love, dad. Okay? And they're not going, especially teenagers, they're not going to tell you that. Sabihin nga nila, cheesy. Pero gusto nila yon. I love you, anak. I miss you, anak. Okay? Anong ginagawa mo dyan? Or pinasalubungan mo sila? Okay? So, that is the challenge to parents. You love them, especially when they are undeserving of your love. May I again share a snippet of my life? I got married right after graduation. And my parents were totally against my decision to marry. Okay? And because I am very stubborn, I am hard-headed, I think I know everything. So I said, I know what I'm doing. Okay? But I remember during the wedding or few days before the wedding, my dad wrote a letter to me. I-share ko na lang po yung shortcut version. Sabi niya, to my dearest princess, I know I'll be giving you to the man who will not love you the way I did or the way that I love you now. But because I love you, you know how much I do not like you, how against I am of your decision to marry. But because I love you, I am allowing you, I am setting you free. Yeah. But when this marriage fails, sabi niya, you have a home to go back to. And please know that, sabi niya, as I give you away, this will be the longest walk of my life. Okay. Mahaba po kasi nilakaran ko yung aisle. So, nasabi niya. Tapos po, nung ibinigay niya na ako, niyakap po ako ng tatay ko. Sabi niya, pag pumalpak ka sa desisyon mong ito ha, uwi ka lang. I remember those words. Okay? I remember those words during the struggles of my marriage until it ended, until I got the annulment. And I came back home. Sabi nga ng tatay ko, I fulfilled my promise to you. I accepted you without you having to explain or without telling you, I told you so. So, sabi ko nga, isa yon sa kapalpakan ko ng buhay na I always would share to young people. If my parents did not support me during that lowest point in my life, I don't know where I am today. I don't know what will happen to me and my children if they didn't love me during the time that I am least deserving of their love. So may I just share this video to you? Okay, so the home, it should be the safest place to fall. Ito na po yun.
down, and oh, my soul so weary. When troubles come and my heart burdened be, then I am still and wait here in the silence till you come and sit a while with me. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. Raise me up to more than I can be. You raise me up so I can stand on mountains. You raise me up to walk on stormy seas. I am strong when I am on your shoulders. You raise me up to more than I can be.
Dear parents, kayo po ba ay ganong magulang? Kung kailan yung pinakadapa ng inyong mga anak, kayo po ba yung unang tutulong o kayo po yung unang magsasabing, sabi ko sa'yo huwag ka nang tumakbo. Sabi ko sa'yo, huwag mo nang gawin yan Ako po, alam nyo, that video, I've been watching that ever since. Ginagamit ko po yan sa lahat ng talks ko. And sabi ko nga, basta napapanood ko siya, naiiyak pa rin po ako. Because I remember how my dad picked me up. This is the time that, siguro po, I'm sorry for being emotional. Because this is the time I hear also the cry of our children, the cry of your children. I mean, in the counseling center. Bakit po yung mga magulang ko yung unang nagja-judge sa akin? Bakit po yung mga magulang ko yung unang nawawala yung suporta sa akin? Diba dapat po sila? So siguro po the challenge here, dear parents, is probably you can be like this father. Yung pinakabagsak po ng anak ninyo, kayo po yung unang tutulong at tatakbo sa kanyang tabi para makalakad siya uli. Okay. And in connection with that, when was the last time or did you ever try to tell your children that you're proud of them? Did you appreciate them? Or you only appreciate them when they give you good grades? How about other behaviors? Do you appreciate them? Marami po akong mga nagiging kliyente naman na mga may edad na. Ang kanilang mga issues po sa buhay is that they never heard their parents say, I'm so proud of you, anak. Don't deprive your children of this. I am proud of you. They need this. Okay? They need to hear this from their parents. Wag na po natin ito ipagdamot. Hindi po kailangan ng mataas na grado para sa I am so proud of you. I remember again my dad with this. Before he died, before he was, during his weakest point na, hindi na po siya kasi nakapagsalita ng time na yon. Pero prior to that, pangako ko sa kanya kasi yung PhD na yan. Kasi when I finished my master's degree, I was still married even if I was separated, I was still married. I wasn't annulled yet, rather. So the surname that I have in that diploma was still my ex-husband's surname. And my dad would always make parinig. Sabi niya, dapat pala mag-PhD ka. Kaya ako napunta po sa pag-PhD. Parang sabi niya, pala mag-PhD ka para pag gumraduate ka, annulled ka na, era na din yan. Sabi niya. And I feel so bad that I wasn't able to give him that before he died. I was almost done, but of course, with all the kahirapan po of passing defense, hindi ko po yun naibigay agad sa kanya. But I remember him telling me, with or without that PhD degree, Nina, I am proud of you. I'm proud of how you are right now. And it's something that helped me along the way. Alam mo po, yung mga nakikita kong clients na they're very, alam mo yun, yung they're longing for that I am proud of you. Nakita ko po sa kanila yung pain na marami sa kanila na wala na yung magulang nila. Hindi na rin nila nadinig ito. So wag po natin hintayin yon habang may buhay tayo, di ba? I love you, I am proud of you. May I just share this video to you?
May diploma na rin si Enzo. Balang araw, papalitan natin yan ng tunay, ha?
Opo.
3 line of 9, pero para makapasok ka sa university, kailangan wala kang line of 8.
Yes, Dad.
Buti na lang, pinractice natin yung defense mo. Tingnan mo, panalo. Andiyan ka na pala.
Hi, Dad.
Nakapag-review ka na ba?
Opo, Dad.
O baka naman mamaya lumabas ka pa. Mag-review ka uli. Tandaan mo, ako, kuya mo, tito-lito mo, lahat doon nagtapos. Tignan mo kami ngayon. Lahat maayos ang buhay, di ba?
Nauna na daw si Enzo sa Jollibee. Mukhang may celebrate tayo ah.
Dad, sorry. Hindi ako nakapasa.
Enzo, naging mabuti kang anak. Yan ang mas mahalaga. Walang araw na hindi ako naging proud sa'yo.
Hindi po ako endorser ng Jollibee, pero favorite ko po ang mga commercials ng Jollibee. They really would talk about family and the family values that we should have. I am proud of you. Wag na po natin ipagdamot yan sa ating mga anak. They don't need to have good grades for you to tell them that you're proud of them. Sabi ko nga po kanina, sa kolehiyo ng edukasyon po sa University of the East, ang aming batian po palagi sa klase ay magandang buhay at sinasagot kami ng mga estudyante ng mabuting tao. And we tell them, ano po yung value noon? Higit sa pagiging matalinong mga bata, kailangan mas maging mabuting tao tayo. Okay? The fact po that you're raising mabubuting tao na anak, then you did well already, and you should tell them that you are also proud of them. Okay? In connection with that, I love you is very important to them. They might say that it's cheesy. They might say na parang awkward, but they love to hear from you those 3 important words that I love you, anak, or I miss you. Okay. May I share this picture? These are my adult kids. This was taken, I don't know, 3-4 years ago, Mother's Day. Learn to laugh together as family. Okay? Minsan po kahit ano yung mga kababawan, pagtawanan nyo lang, kahit na ano lang. I mean, this is not something this is something that we do really as a family with my two children. We laugh, kapalpakan, or you always find the silver lining in life. So I remember there was one story lang about my daughter. Sabi niya, graduating siya from high school. So there's a practice for the graduation. So ako, hindi ako nakikinig sa MC na pwede na palang umuwi. Kasi parang ang na-overhear ko, magstay yung parents. Pero hindi ko napakinggan kung sinong parents yung magsistay. And then, sabi ng daughter ko, sabi niya, Mommy, ba't nandiyan ka pa? Alis na tayo. Tapos sabi ko, di ba sabi stay pa ang mga parents? Sabi niya, ano ka ba, hindi ka talaga nakikinig? Sabi niya, yung pinapastay yung mga parents ng mga awardees. Sabi niya. Tapos sabi ko, oh, so ibig sabihin makakauwi na tayo ngayon? Gumanon ako sa niya. O see, sabi niya, Mommy, so you have to thank me. I don't have an award. So meaning, makakauwi na tayo. Makaka-rest ka na. Sabi ko, hay, salamat. Buti na lang wala ka palang award. Diba? So, yung even those things, we make laugh or we make fun of that because that's way of reducing stress, diba? And that's also our way to connect with our children. When they see that you can make fun of even your own kapalpakan, they can also see that. And I mean, when they experience their own failures, they can also find their own silver lining. Okay? And of course, validate their emotions. Okay? Never say yan lang, para yan lang. Even if you're the parent, you have no right to say para yan lang because that is their feeling. No one can ever invalidate our feelings. And a lot of times, I've seen clients who are there as well because their feelings were invalidated by their parents. I remember a client, okay? Again, this client has been seeing a psychiatrist for a long time already, and the mother said her child is not improving. Okay? So, punta siya. Pagdating po sa akin, to make the long story short, sabi ko, I don't really see the need for your child to take medication for depression because she's not really depressed, but she's going through something. Okay? And doon po sa nakita ko, nung bata siya, ewan ko po kung na-experience to ng ating mga magulang, kasi ako po nung bata, na-experience ko po ito. Ako po ay nagupit ng sarili kong bangs. So, itong batang po nagupit din ng sarili niyang bangs. And nagkataon po, siya po ay nag-aaral sa eskwelahan where the mean girls are. I always would address that. Andun yung mga mean girls, yung mga conyo girls. So, when she came to class with that crooked bangs, sabi daw ng mga friends niya and other classmates, we don't like you because you're ugly, or we don't like you, you don't go to recess with us in the canteen because we don't like you, you're so ugly. So mga ganang-ganang sabi daw ng mga bata. So, nung batang to umuwi, pag uwi niya, she was crying to her mom and saying, I don't want to go to school anymore because they're bad. So sabi niya, Mommy, ayoko na, they're bad, they're mean, they tell me that I'm ugly, ganyan-ganyan. Si Mommy, for some reason, siguro pagod, stress, sabi niya, ano ba yan, ang arte-arte mo, para lang yan sa banks na yan, arte-arte ka, iyak-iyak ka pa ng ganyan. Okay, so that's the time that I realized, her feelings were invalidated when she was a young girl. So every time she would feel certain feeling, she would always tell herself, you shouldn't be feeling that because that's not valid. So what I did in that particular, when I found that, I called for the mom. Sabi ko, Mommy, can you recall this incident, yung pag-uwi ng bata? Sabi ng una ng mommy, hindi daw niya ma-recall na sinabi niya yon. Sabi ko, Mommy, it's very important that you recall that because that is where the problem lies. So we need to address that so that we can correct it now. So si Mommy naalala niya na, and then sabi ko, Mommy, ganitong gagawin natin. Can we reenact the scene? Can we go back to the time that your young girl was still a young girl? Okay? And she's gonna tell you that she doesn't want to go to school and that she's, her friends tell her that she's ugly. Ganyan. So, si Mommy, ando na kami sa counseling room, gagawin na namin yung reenactment. Sabi ng anak niya, Mommy, I don't want. So, inulit. Tapos yung mommy, hindi pa nakakapag-umpisa umiiyak. Sabi niya, anak, you're the most beautiful girl for mommy. And that even if they tell you that they don't like to be your friend, I will be your friend forever. And that mommy loves you forever. And that you're the most beautiful girl. And they started to cry. And I started to cry with them. Because you realize this child of hers was just longing for validation. Diba? Alam niyo po, pagkatapos ng session na yon, I never really saw the girl anymore except for the time that she thanked me again. She went back to the counseling center and gave me a parang box of cookies she baked. She was saying how thankful she is um, for making me go to that scene again. So ngayon nagsarado na daw yung sugat na yon, na ngayon alam na raw niyang i-validate yung kanyang nararamdaman. Okay? So the challenge now again to our parents, validate your children's emotions. Okay? And follow the delay gratification. Do not give in to everything that they want. Kasi when you are able to give in to everything that they want, you don't teach them frustration. You don't teach them that in life you don't get what you want. I'll show you a video of the marshmallow test that happened in Stanford. Later on, I'll give you what happened with the result.
Okay, sit in that chair. All right, here's the deal. Marshmallow for you. You can either wait, and I'll give you another one if you wait, or you can eat it now. When I come back, I'll give you another one, so then you'll have two. But stay in here and stay in the chair till I come back, okay? All right. I'm gonna go do something and then I'll come back.
It smells yummy. It smells really good.
So it's up to you. You can have it now or you can wait. Okay? I'll be back. Stay in the chair, okay? Okay.
Okay, so you can see from that experiment, there were children who really waited for for the second marshmallow, and those who immediately ate or cannot stand waiting for the second marshmallow. What did that study find out? It was found out that those children who waited for the second marshmallow were more successful how many years after, because it was a longitudinal study. They followed through these children. Okay? So nakita po nila na yung mga batang nag-intay ay mas naging successful sa buhay. Kasi po, ang nakitang importanteng characteristic is that yung delaying of gratification, that you do not get what you want all the time, and that you have to work hard at times for the things that you want. And sometimes you still get frustrated. Okay? So again, it's something that we teach early on to our children. Okay? And of course, when our children, okay, or we couldn't also understand our children anymore, um, and you also do not know how to handle them anymore, get professional help. Okay, help me in my advocacy of breaking the stigma of going to psychologists, to therapists, to counselors, because that's also what you do, diba? When you have toothache, when there's a problem with your face, I mean, you have pimples, you go to a dermatologist. So it's like really going to a professional. Sometimes uh you allow the professional to guide you, especially if this would deal, or if this is something to do with mental health issues. Okay? And of course, as a parent, you cannot give what you do not have. Okay? So you cannot pour from an empty cup. You also have to take care of yourself first. Um, Again, it's very Filipino. It's our culture in the Philippines that parents will always put themselves last in the list. Ba? Gusto natin palaging nasa dulo tayo. Uunahin natin ang ating mga anak. Pero paano tayo magiging mabuting mga magulang kung hindi natin alam paano alagaan ang ating sarili? Ba? So we have to take care of ourselves first. Take care of our own mental health as well, so that you can take care of the mental health of your children. Okay? So it's very important that as parents, do not forget about yourself, so that at the end of the day, you can become a better mother, you can become a better father to your children. I've always mentioned this to my children. Let mommy do her me time first. Okay, sabi ko, because if I can't take care of myself, I won't be able to take care of both of you. And they know that. I mean, to heart, even when they were young kids up until now. So to finally end this webinar, I hope, dear parents, you put your heart to the last part. Alam ko po, magla-lunch na, baka iniisip nyo, magluluto pa o gutom na kayo. Konting tiis na lang po. This is a letter from your child. Okay, just imagine that this is a letter that your children wrote for you, because this is the sentiments of children nowadays. So I want you to put your heart, I want you to put your focus on what the letter is all about. Dear Mom and Dad, this is a letter. This is a letter I wish I could write. This fight we are in right now, I need it. I need this fight. I can't tell you this because I don't have the language for it, and it wouldn't make sense anyway. It doesn't matter what this fight is even about. Curfew, homework, laundry, my messy room, going out, staying in, leaving, not leaving. Boyfriend, girlfriend, no friends, bad friends, it doesn't matter. I need you. I need to fight you on it, and I need you to fight me back. I desperately need you to hold the other end of the rope, to hang on tightly while I thrash on the other end, while I find the handholds and footholds in this new world I feel like I am in. I used to know who I was, who you were, who we were. But right now I don't. Right now, I am looking for my edges, and I can sometimes only find them when I am pulling on you. I need this fight, and I need to see that no matter how bad or big my feelings are, they won't destroy you or me. I need you to love me, even at my worst, even when it looks like I don't love you. If you want to get all your grown-up friends together and have a surviving your teenager sport group rage fest, that's fine with me. Or talk about me behind my back, I don't care. Just don't give up on me. Don't give up on this fight. I need it. This is the fight that will teach me that my shadow is not bigger than my light. This is the fight that will teach me that bad feelings don't mean the end of a relationship. This is the fight that will teach me how to listen to myself, even when it might disappoint others. And this particular fight will end like any storm. It will blow over, and I will forget, and you will forget, and then it will come back, and I will need you to hang on to the rope again. I will need this over and over for years. Please hang on to the other end of the rope and know that you are doing the most important job that anyone could possibly be doing for me right now. Love your child. Dear parents, love your children. Guide them. Okay? I've seen broken children a lot of times. I've seen that every week. I've seen that almost every day for the past weeks now. And they are longing for their parents' love. I tell you, dear parents, it is easier to build strong children than to repair broken adults. Thank you very much po for listening. I'm sorry for being emotional when it comes to this. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you, Miss Nina. Hala, nakakaiyak naman po, Miss Nina. It's okay to cry, di ba po? So, parents, grab your tissue. Punas-punas po muna tayo ng luha. Sabi ko nga kay Teacher Joash, kung pwede po siya na yung mag-host kasi kanina pa ako nagpipigil ng iyak po sa backstage. Isa pa po akong iyak. Thank you, Miss Nina. Thank you po, Professor Nina, for giving us this very timely talk. I'm sure our parents have gained a better understanding of their children's emotional and mental state. I'm sure po marami silang takeaways. Katulad ko po, nag-take down notes ako kanina, especially from your sharing of your journey as a specialist, a mother, and even as a child. We appreciate you po for doing this for us. But Professor Nina, I hope you can stay a little longer to accommodate some questions from our parents. Okay, parents, thank you po for sending us your questions. Okay, number one po, what can you say about romantic relationships in high school? How to properly deal with these things?
Okay po. You cannot stop them from really having crushes or sometimes infatuation. Sometimes they would label it as puppy love, first love. So again, as parents, we are there to guide them. Pag tayo po ay nagbigay or nagpakita sa kanila na tayo ay magagalit or tayo ay magsasabi na ang bata-bata mo pa, meron ka ng alam na mahal-mahal or bata ka pa para diyan, hindi na po magshi-share ang mga batang 'yan. At pag hindi po nag-share ang mga batang 'yan, mas nakakatakot kasi alam niyo po magtatanong po yan sa mga kapwa nilang hindi rin magsasabi ng tama minsan sa kanila. And it's really for the parents to really open their children with these topics like sex education, romantic relationship. Mga nanggagaling po yan sa mga magulang and then later on supported by the teachers in school. So, kailangan po natin, ikwento tayo. Pwede po tayo magkwento. Alam nyo ba, ako unang nagka-crush ganito. Pero ganito yung ginawa ko. 'Di ba? Ang mga bata, they love to hear stories from you about your own childhood because they realize that yes, you are a human being. Hindi ka nila nakikita bilang magulang na pinagdaanan mo to, may crush ka, kinikilig ka, na sinasabi mo to na parang na-excite ka kasi makikita mo yung crush mo mamaya o nag-hi siya sa'yo. Normal naman yun eh. 'Di ba? So, ang importante lang, turuan natin na parang, how do we take care of ourselves? 'Di ba? May crush tayo, pero what do we do? 'Di ba? How do we make sure that we don't get into something that we will later on regret? Oh, yun yung mga, at madali po yan gawin kung tayo po ay may connection sa ating mga anak. Mas mahirap po magdisiplina ng mga anak na wala po tayong connection. Ang tinatawag nga po dyan ngayon, connection before correction. Yun po. Yun po ang sa aking sagot.
Pakaganda po, Miss Nina, no? So, yun pa rin po yung key, connection, communication, open communication with our kids. Ano, Miss Nina, pag sinabi nila, ang cringy naman, mami, ng love story mo.
Okay, minsan yung mga, okay lang yun. Minsan naman yung mga bata, alam mo yun, yung makareact lang na parang, ew, cheesy, ew, kadiri, yung mga gano'n ng mga style ng mga bata. Pero they understand, they love to hear it. And kung ano yung natututunan mo doon nila nare-realize na parang, kaya pala ikaw, mommy, kaya ka pala nangyari ito sa'yo ngayon kasi matigas ang ulo mo noon. Diba? So I don't have to tell them na wag kayo matigas ang ulo kasi just based on my story, I also tell you know what, I didn't listen to mama and papa and this is what I got. But I'm thankful I have both of you and now they would always tell me, ay nako, hindi namin gagayahin yung katigasan ng ulo mo. So it's something that they would, diba, they would emulate now as adults.
Okay, thank you po. Another question. Being involved in my child's education and social life is my way of showing my love or our way of showing our love for our kids. Is this bad?
Okay, we have to find po a balance. Balance is the key. Hindi po PM is the key. So balance is the key. Okay? Kailangan yung pag-i-involve naman po ng ating sarili ay pagpapakita. Tama po kayo ng pagmamahal. Pero lahat po ng sobra ay masama. Kung tayo na po ay nag-take over sa buhay ng ating mga anak, like for example, kayo na po ang sumasagot na dapat sila ang sumasagot ng mga homework kasi gusto nyo perfect ang score nila. Kung kayo na po ang sumasagot or ginagawa nyo tutor na lang ng tutor or weekends, wala nang panahon ang bata to do extracurricular kasi kailangan mag-attend sa mga tutorial classes or mga enhancement classes, then you are overly doing it. Hindi na po yun balanse. So, find the balance. Ano po ang balanse? Allowing your children to become kids, allowing your children to experience life, allowing your children to experience failure, and at the same time, guiding and being with them during times that they really need you the most for you to be there. Yun po.
Okay po, another question. Ito po, is being depressive inherited? Namamana po ba yun, Professor Nina? Will my children have this condition when they are older?
Yes po, namamana po ang depression, especially if this is clinically diagnosed by a psychiatrist. Pero hindi po ibig sabihin na namamana ay sigurado na po na ang inyong anak, for example, kay ang magulang ay clinically depressed, ay ang magiging anak po ninyo ay siguradong clinically depressed na din. They may be predisposed to depression compared to somebody whose parents are not depressed. Okay? Pero pwede pong may magawa pa rin. Kaya nga po kailangan lang nito ay suporta at saka awareness ng magulang. Pag meron na po tayong nakita na may hindi tama o hindi may mga pagbabago sa ating mga sa ating mga anak, tayo po ay kumonsulta na. Wala naman pong masama. Maybe you can go first to your child's guidance office, and then later on it will be the guidance office will recommend that your child sees a specialist like us. So awareness lang po yan and acceptance. Okay? Mape-prevent natin yan.
Thank you po, Miss Nina, and thank you also for sharing kanina po yung mga red flags, no, ng depression.
Yes po.
Okay po. So, I like what you shared yesterday, Miss Nina. Di ba po, kapag may toothache yung anak natin, we bring the child to the dentist. Kapag may physical illness, we bring the child to a physician. So, kapag na-observe po yung mga emotional conditions na hindi po normal, it's really best to seek professional help. No?
Yes, yes. Wag po natin hintayin yung merong attempt na ng suicide. Ang attempt po ng suicide ay pinakadulo na po kasi yon. Ibig sabihin grabe na yung nararamdaman ng bata. Kasi po hindi naman po nag-uumpisa yan na parang okay, ngayon I feel bad, mag-a-attempt na ako ng suicide. Hindi naman ganun yon. Magpapakita ang bata ng maraming signals sa inyo na hindi okay yung nararamdaman ko. So ngayon, it's for us parents to recognize those red flags. And then when we recognize, that's time that we bring them to a professional. At kami po ang magsasabi na ay baka kailangan natin makita ng mas madalas or ay ano lang po yan, baka konting himas lang yan, kumbaga konting kausap sa bata, konting pag-educate sa magulang, maaayos na. Pero unfortunately, ang parang mga Pinoy po, 'di ba? It's cultural. 'Di ba pumupunta po tayo sa doktor minsan kung talagang hindi na tayo makatayo sa sakit. Kaya tayo So parang ganun din, kliyente kadalasan yung mga meron ng attempted suicide or meron na pong addiction yung bata or nabuntis na po yung bata. So yung mga tipong mahirap na ma-reverse kaya pumupunta ang mga magulang. Pero pag nakita mo naman, nagpakita na ng senyales yung prior, hindi lang pinansin ng magulang. Yun po yung nakikita namin. So just be aware. You should know your children. You're the first person who should know your kids. Yun.
Okay, thank you po for the reminder. We have a very interesting question here, Professor Nina. How do we address online gaming addiction?
Ayan po.
Marami po, challenge po to.
Yes.
Maraming magulang ngayon.
Marami po akong kliyente ngayon na addicted sa online gaming. Number one, ang tanong po dyan, bakit po siya sa online? So meaning, wala pong sa kanya, walang nagdisiplina. Ibig sabihin, napansin, unang 2 oras, 3 oras, 4 na oras, hanggang mamaya, umaabot na siya sa hindi na natutulog yung bata. Okay, so ibig sabihin, number one, merong kapabayaan. Okay, hindi yan na-addressed early on. Second, po siya na-addict sa online gaming. Meaning, wala po siyang nakakausap sa bahay or walang nakakaintindi sa bahay. Kaya ang bata, ang feeling niya, ang mundo niya, yung mga online gaming. At kadalasan po sa aking mga kliyente, ang youngest client ko po na na-addict sa online gaming is 8 years old. Okay? He was, paano po siya napunta sa akin? Hindi dahil actually sa online gaming. Ang nangyari po, he became too violent to his sibling already. Nagpakita po siya ng too much aggression already. Kaya yung alarm. Ngayon, nung tiningnan po namin yun, ay ang tanong ko, bakit po na-addict ang bata? So, nung na-find out namin, si mami pala busy sa trabaho. Kahit nasa bahay, nagtatrabaho. Hindi kinakamusta, hindi binibigyan ng boundary ang bata. Okay? So, kaya po yan naging addict. Again, it goes back to the parents. Diba? You should have placed boundaries to your children. You should have disciplined your children. You should have given them how much time are they supposed to be spending in online gaming. Yun.
Okay po. We have another one here. I think related din po ito dun sa dilemma ngayon ng parents, how to balance their time. Kasi po, most of them are working from home, nasa bahay lang po sila, but probably feel disconnected with the kids. Now, how do we balance our time between work and taking care of the kids? We always go home late and no time to supervise the kids anymore with their schoolwork, especially at this time.
Mm-hmm. Yes po. Kaya nga po, it should be intentional parenting. Yun po ang tinatawag ngayon. Intentional parenting. You have to really find time. Lahat naman po tayo may 24 hours a day lang. Hindi po ba? Wala na, yun nga, sabi nga ngayon, time na lang po ang only equalizer. Time and death are the only equalizer between the rich and the poor. Kasi lahat pa, mayaman, mahirap, meron lang 24 hours a day. I know we are all busy. Okay? Alam ko po yung pakiramdam ng talagang kulang ang oras. But if you are definitely a parent whose intention is to read with your children, you have to find time. Pag ang anak po natin ay mas bata, for example po, nasa preschool until mga 12 years old, ang mga batang yan, ang hinahanap nila, kalaro or kabanding. Yan. So, kailangan po nila yung oras nyo, I mean the quantity time. Meaning, kailangan you really spend time as much kahit siguro mga isang oras, makikipaglaro ka, ganon sa kanila. Pero po, ang good thing about sa mga teenagers, they don't need much of your time anymore. Pag yung mga 12 pataas, may sarili na kasi ang mundo. Ang gusto lang nila ay pagkakailangan kanila ay maiintindihan at makakausap kanila. Maybe 10 minutes of your time, 10 to 15 minutes of your time, you can spare to your child, to your teenager, and just ask them, how are you anak? How's online class? Alam mo ba si mommy ganito? Magkwento ka din. Yung ganun lang. Kahit 3 times a week, 4 times a week, hindi naman po siguro mahirap ibigay ang 10 to 15 minutes a day para sa ating mga anak.
Okay, find time po talaga. No? Be intentional about it. No? Another question po, I'm just wondering where to draw the line between hovering and just being in touch with what's happening with my kids.
Very good.
Kasi na-mention niyo po kanina.
Yes. Helicopter parents.
Yes.
Tama naman. Ano yung where do you draw the boundary? Where do you draw the line? Pag lahat pinapakialaman mo, alam niyo po, ang mga bata, kailangan by grade 3, they already know how to do their homework by themselves. Hindi na dapat kayo ang talagang nakatutok sa kanila. Ang trabaho na lang dapat ng magulang is just probably asking them, anak, may assignment ka ba? Na ano mo na ba? Nagawa mo na ba? Ganon lang. Diba? Ngayon, kung hindi ginawa ng iyong anak yung kanyang assignment, hayaan mo siya. Hayaan mong ma-discover niya kung ano yung consequence for not doing that. Diba? Kasi yung batang yan, pag hindi niya nakita na may consequence, hindi yan matututo. Okay? They won't learn accountability. I remember that is how I taught my children about assignments. Sabi ko, pagka hindi nyo alam at at nalaman ko sa mga teachers na hindi kayo gumagawa ng assignments, merong karampatang consequence. So, we have to find yung balanse. Hayaan po natin yung ating mga anak. Okay? Nandun tayo to guide them. Kunyari, Mami, meron akong tanong. Meron po akong assignment na ganito. Hindi ko po naintindihan. Then, explain it to the child. Pero yung ikaw pa yung gumawa at tutukan mo pa talaga siya, ano na po yun? Helicopter parenting na po yun. 'Di ba? Yung pagpipili sa inyong mga anak ng kanilang kukuhanin sa college, definitely helicopter parenting 'yon. Kasi hindi naman po kayo yung kukuha ng degree na 'yon, yung anak nyo. So hayaan niyo siya, you're just there to guide. Sasabihin mo lang naman, anak, saan ka ba magaling? 'Di ba? At susuportahan kita. 'Yun po.
Okay, may follow-up po tayo sa question na yan. We heard before that we should at least know the friends of our kids, their activities, and more or less what's happening with their lives. Is that being a helicopter parent po?
Well,
Is that hovering already?
okay. Ang helicopter po dyan, kung kayo po, pati yung mga kaibigan, mini-message nyo. Nasaan kayo talaga? Mag-picture ka sa akin kung totoong nandito kayo. Or yun na po yung hovering. Meron po ako kasing client, ganyan talaga. Sobrang galit na galit siya sa mommy niya. Kasi pati mga kaibigan niya ay mini-message isa-isa para sabihin, mag-take kayo ng picture, sinong kasama nyo, tapos pag kami hindi nagustuhan ang mommy na na-post sa social media, tapos pagkakasama, pati yung mga barkada pinapagalitan. Okay? Then that is hovering. Okay? Knowing your children, alam lang po natin sino yung mga kaibigan ng ating mga anak. Probably you can invite your friends, the friends of your children at home para mas makilala mo sila, makikita mo kung anong klaseng mga bata sila. Pero tama na po yun, nakilala nyo. Hindi nyo na kailangan pati i-message sa Facebook, i-text, or tanungin ng mga, alam mo yon, yung guluhin pati yung buhay ng mga barkada. Then that is helicoptering already. Yes.
Ako, medyo challenge po yan, Miss Nina.
Yes, challenge talaga.
Opo. Nakaka-relate po yung ibang mga parents dyan. But I'm sure they're very receptive po about the tips that you're sharing with us.
Yes po.
Thank you po. Another question, how do you respond to a child asking to have certain apps because her friends have these apps and that's how they can connect with each other?
Ano po uli yun? Medyo lang po, Teacher K. Ano po uli?
Sorry po. How do you respond to a child asking to have certain apps because her friends have them and that's how they connect with each other? Minsan po kasi may parents that allow their kids to have a certain app pero yung ibang parents naman po hindi na allow.
Well, as
So,
long
paano po yun?
as long as we know, ano po ba yung app na yon? At ano yung talagang kailangan po ba talaga yon para to connect with the classmates? Kasi kung hindi naman po kailangan, then you do not allow. Kaya nga importante po that the parents are aware of those apps. Kayo mismo, alam nyo yun. Para alam nyo rin, i-educate ang inyong mga anak kung how they also protect themselves when they are using those kinds of apps. So, ang unang kailangan dyan, si magulang, dapat alam nyo po, ano yon. If there's nothing wrong with the app, then you can allow it. If you see that there's no danger of probably overexposing themselves or invading the privacy of your child, then pwede po yun. Kaya importante po ang ating mga magulang ay alam kung ano ang ginagawa ng ating mga anak para tayo ay masuportahan po natin sila.
How do you respond? I think pareho po yung question. Ito po, meron pong very interesting question din po. Paano po palabasin yung potentials ng mga bata? Knowing your child can do more, pero parang yung bata mismo, kontento na po siya kung na ganun lang siya or ganito lang siya.
Usually po, pag ganyan ng bata, I also have so many clients who are like that. Ang problem po niyan ay self-esteem. So, ang paniniwala niyang batang yan ay hindi ko kaya. Okay? So, probably there was something that happened during the early years that that child felt that she cannot do anything. So now she is scared or he is scared of trying risk anymore. And the child now is just happy in his comfort zone. Yon. So, importante po, pakita po natin, siguro sa guidance counselor, makikita na po yan kung saan po yung problema. Kasi marami po akong clients na sa mga ganyan ang problema, it's really self-esteem. And self-esteem is developed way back when we were younger. Okay, so there might be certain things that the parents did, or there might be things that the parents did not do also, that develop that particular behavior or that particular belief that I am okay already with what I am or where I am right now.
Will I allow my child to play different games as long as he wanted? He said gaming is a sport that he wanted to do. So, I think medyo nasagot na po ito kanina. But what if the child expresses to the mother that this is my interest, gaming is a sport that I want to do. So, paano po magre-respond ang parents?
Pwede po siguro tayo mag-introduce that gaming is not the only, that can be one, but you introduce the child to other kasi minsan naman kulang lang talaga sila ng ano bang tawag nito, yung parang pagpapakilala ng mga iba't ibang mga
options
bagay.
po,
Oo, options.
Exposure
So,
to different options.
yeah, so parang we can just tell them, oh, you can try. If you don't like it, you can just tell mommy or daddy that you don't like, but you can try. Diba? So, yun po yung importante. Trying is very important.
Okay. Meron pong request dito, Professor Nina. Can you repeat daw po your last statement about repairing broken adults?
Okay. Yeah, sorry. Kasi pag sinasabi ko yan talaga, I've seen...
Nakakaiyak po kasi.
Because
Baka
I've seen...
nauna po yung iyak nila.
Correct. I've seen how children are broken now. I've seen broken adults as well because the parents it was really the parents who wounded them. Sinugatan sila nitong mga magulang na ito. So I always would say it is easier to raise strong children than to repair broken adults. Mas madali pong magpalaki ng mga batang emotionally and psychologically strong than repairing broken adults, because at this time, at certain time, your children will become adults, and because of that they will reap what you have, they will be able to reap what happened from their younger years.
Let me repeat that. It is easier to raise strong children than to repair broken adults. Napakaganda po nun. Take away po nating lahat yan.
Yes.
Tapos, Professor Nina, if there are parents who would like to reach out to you, to contact you, saan po nila kayo makikita?
Okay
or
po.
Contact numbers po?
Okay. My personal mobile number, which you can contact also, is 0917-584-9966. Okay. And I am also connected with Reintegration for Care and Wholeness Foundation in Katipunan, Quezon City, just across Miriam College. Okay. And there is also the Facebook, Instagram, and the website of RCW Cares. So makikita niyo po doon kaming lahat. May mga other colleagues of mine and other sessions that we do for our clients. So it's RCW Cares.
Okay, ulitin ko lang po. So, Professor Nina, thank you for giving us your personal number, 0917-584-9966, and she is connected with Reintegration for Care and Wholeness Foundation. That's just across Miriam College. Hindi na
Yes.
po talaga kayo lumayo sa inyong alma mater, ha?
Oo nga eh.
Okay,
Katipunera.
RCW Cares, Katipunera
Yes.
po. RCW Cares po ang kanilang website.
Yes po.
Okay, meron pa pong pahabol na question. Bakit po ang mga bata ngayon hindi takot bumagsak sa exams or schoolwork? Parang pa-easy-easy lang daw po at walang pakialam.
Okay. Normally po yung mga bata, extreme yan. Pag takot silang, wala silang pakialam, minsan, kasi lack of boundary. Kasi hindi hinayaan naman natin sila na wala silang, like for example, study habits. Dapat po ang mga bata, by grade 3, meron na po yung study habit. Like, anong time sila dapat gumagawa ng assignment, anong time. Minsan baka dahil busy ang parents, hindi na natin nasusupervise na wala na pala silang study habits. At meron din namang mga magulang na minsan masyadong stricto. Kaya ang mga bata minsan nagre-rebelde. I remember what I told earlier, that children who need the most love will ask for that love in the most unloving way. So minsan kaya po hinahayaan lang nila talagang bumagsak sila. Kasi nasasaktan sila. Kasi meron silang hinihinging atensyon. Kasi minsan alam nila na pagbagsak sila, magagalit kayo. 'Di ba? So pag galit kayo, they get your attention. So ngayon, ang nangyayari sa mga bata, nagiging reinforcement yung pagbagsak. Kasi doon nila nakukuha yung attention ninyo. So, gawin po nating baliktad. Mag-reinforce tayo ng mga bagay na gusto natin mangyari na paulit-ulit. Para ngayon, itong mga batang ito, happy pala si mommy na ganito, na-appreciate niya yung small achievements ko. So later on, I would now strive harder to give my parents bigger achievement kasi na-appreciate niya ako. Pero dahil minsan hindi nga natin sila na-appreciate at nagagalit lang tayo tuwing bumabagsak sila, so they use that as a way to get your attention.
Capture kids doing good things,
Yes,
no?
exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, parents, for engaging with us. We have our questions are getting more and more interesting. Is bad cop, good in parenting? Will lessons be enforced if only one parent is parenting while the other parent po is pointing finger when kids complain?
Good question. Kahapon po, very fresh po ako sa ganyang clients ko. Si daddy ang good parent, si mommy ang bad parent. Ano ang ending? They hate mommy. Okay? Ano pong nangyari? Ang mga bata ngayon ay may problema. Okay? So, hindi po tama ang good cop at bad cop. Okay? It has to be one. Okay? As parents, before giving rules to your children or before enforcing something to your children, you should have talked it out first. Kayo munang mag-asawa, pag-usapan nyo ano talaga, hindi pwedeng yung isa lalagpas kay daddy o lalagpas kay mommy, tapos yung isa hindi pwede. Kasi ayaw natin palabasin na may isang magulang na masama at may isang magulang na mabuti. Ang gusto natin that both parents are really after your welfare. Like I remember, may I just share a short story again. Yung daddy ko, alam daw niya sa kanyang sarili na hindi niya malambot ang kanyang puso. So bago daw sila ng mommy ko, pinag-usapan talaga nila that the discipline must be coming from mommy, from my mom. Okay? So whatever it is, it will just be my daddy or my papa who would support my mom. So pag ako po ay kunyari, nagpapadagdag ako ng baon kasi may gusto kong bilhin. So hindi ako papayagan ng nanay ko. Pupunta po ako sa tatay ko. Magdadrama po ako na iiyak-iyak ako kunyari kasi ayaw ako bigyan. Ano pong isasagot sa akin ng tatay ko? Sabihin niya, what did mama tell you? Sabi ko, hindi daw pwede. Okay, so that's the rule. I cannot say yes to you because mama said it's no already. Okay? So, hindi po dapat consistency is the key also in parenting. If you are not consistent, it will also be difficult for the child whether I will follow this or I will follow that. And also, it will confuse our children all the more if wala pong isang rule sa bahay.
Okay po. We are all first-timers to experience this pandemic. So paano po i-train mentally yung mga bata to be prepared for all types of situations na lahat tayo nandito ngayon?
Parang sinabi ko po kanina, do not teach your children that life is hard. Do not act like you're superheroes. Do not act like you will feed everything to your children. Allow them to experience failures. Teach them life skills such as delaying gratification. Yung kanina pong sinabi kong marshmallow test. That is a life skill. Pag hindi mo nakukuha ang iyong gusto, ay tinuturuan ka ng buhay para mag-cope sa frustration. Kasi paano ba ako mag-cope? Paano bang gagawin ko? Hindi ko nakuha yung gusto ko. So it's about, again, coping. Sabi ko nga kahapon sa mga bata, wala naman masamang emotions. Lahat po ng emotions ay tama. Nagiging masama lang ang ating mga emotions if we act on it. Like for example, galit ka, sinaktan mo yung kapatid mo, yun yung masama. Pero pwede ka naman magalit at pwede kang maghanap ng way to cope doon sa galit na yon. So ano yung trabaho nating bilang mga magulang? Teach them that life is hard. Do not give in to everything that they want. Do not always say yes. Do not do their assignments. The fact that you are doing their assignments, you're not teaching them that life is hard because you are doing it for them. Okay? I've seen a lot of feedbacks from teachers and that sa mga teacher trainings po na ginagawa ko lalo na noong face-to-face. Sasabihin po ng mga teachers, nako ma'am, minsan magpauwi ka ng mga libro, makita mo may mga sagot na ang mga nanay. Paano naman ito? Sabi ko, kaya nga may problema yung mga bata. Kasi itong mga nanay na to, mga magulang na ito, ay sinasagutan. Anong reason nila? Kasi para mataas ang grade ng inyong anak. But what do you teach them? 'Di ba? Naging mataas yung grade ng anak mo, but what did it teach them? Nothing. Okay? So, kasi po ang tayong mga magulang, tayong natatakot mag-fail. Don't be scared about failures. That's how we become strong. 'Di ba? Those failures will definitely make our lives easier later on because we are able to cope better.
Okay po, para sa mga teachers naman po, how can our school teachers be an effective partner in supporting our students in terms of striking a balance between academics and personal life?
Siguro po as teachers, we have to balance. Ano po ba yung kaya lang talaga ng ating mga anak? Like, I remember I have, one time my daughter came back, came in from school. She went home and she was crying to me and she told me, Mommy, am I stupid? Yun ang tanong nung daughter ko. She was high school at that time. And sabi ko, what makes you think that you are stupid? So, pinakita niya sa akin yung assignment ng teacher. Yung assignment ni teacher, sobrang hirap. Kahit ikaw, ako nga noong time na yon ay nagkukuha lang, nag-aano pa ako nagma-masters pa ako. Sabi ko, ako nga na nag-MA, hindi ko nga masyadong ma-explain kung paano yung gusto ni teacher, parang ganon. So sabi niya, because I can't understand it and I feel so stupid for not being able to do it by myself because I don't help them with their assignments. I've never helped them. I am just going to guide them, but I'm not going to do it for them. At bahala sila kung mababa yung grade na yan, okay lang. What matters most is they have learned something from that. So, nung nakita ko po yon, ako ay pumunta sa high school principal ng anak ko. Sabi ko, I am not paying this tuition fee for my daughter to make you feel my daughter that she's stupid just because you wanted an excellent student. Okay, I understand that the school aims for excellence. Naiintindihan ko po yon. Pero we don't like excellence in exchange of self-esteem. Okay? So striking a balance, hanapin po natin kung ano yung kaya ng bata. Okay? Yung magkakaroon sila ng critical thinking ability, pero hindi naman po sobrang hirap that they will try to or they will look at themselves as stupid. Wag naman po ganon. Dahil sa kagustuhan natin maging magaling ang ating mga estudyante, do not allow that they feel less of themselves just because you were trying them to be excellent students. Find a balance by knowing what it is developmentally appropriate for your students. Yun po.
Okay, thank you for that, Professor Nina. Sobrang dami po naming natutunan this morning.
Salamat po.
Thank you so much. You are very much appreciated. Thank you also for our parents. Thank you for joining us this Saturday morning. We appreciate po you for the hard work that you do of raising your kids and loving them unconditionally. So this has been a purposeful Saturday morning. We still have the rest of the day to spend with our family. So enjoy po natin yung bonding with our kids. So
Alright.
I guess we can say goodbye now. Wala na po tayong question. Again, you can reach Professor Nina po through her personal number 0917-5849-966. And she's also connected po sa Reintegration for Care and Wholeness Foundation. That's across Miriam College.
Yes po. Maraming salamat, Teacher Kay, Teacher
Thank you
Doris.
po.
Salamat po.
Thank you po. Bye, everyone. Keep safe, happy, and healthy, as together we expect to heal and see brighter days in God's favor.
Yes.
Enjoy the rest of your Saturday.
Thank you.
Bye-bye po.
Bye-bye.